Okay. Obviously, I understood that the mostly part of you knows my project in Chicago and the Crown Fountain. And Joe Becker, when he asked me to do the lecture, asked me to talk specifically a little bit more about one project, to describe the process, more or less. And I guess the Crown Fountain probably is the most interesting for you because it's not so far in Chicago, and probably many of you knows the piece directly. Chicago. The site. The complete park. You see that it's the Gary open-air pavilion, the Kapoor piece, and my piece in the corner. And as you probably can see, the landscape designer was very conservative, very correct, very normal. And then it was 3 different commissions for Frank Gehry, for Kapoor, and for me. Before it was a competition, of course, but that was the position of each of us. Okay, when I got the commission, my dream was to try to create something that I know perfectly, which is the kind of places where people could be and talk and relax, and to create a certain emptiness in the city. Many times when an architect asks you a project, it's because he did something wrong in his building, or the square was very bad designed, and he needs something to hide the problems behind. And it was a beautiful moment in that invitation that nothing was made. It was really in the beginning. It was really beautiful because we really had the capacity to work all together as a real team. And okay, as far as I got the corner with Michigan Avenue and Monroe, I thought that my piece had this capacity to be, let's say, a gathering place, a place to welcome people, to invite people, to suck people in the park. And then I was always dreaming about something that it's almost disappear in architectural elements, which is the gargoyle. You probably know in many cathedrals, in many houses, it was the idea of the gargoyle. This image of a face coming from a very far in the history from the Roman or Greek fountains, with the idea of divinity is giving us life through our mouth. Well, as you know, I love words and text. That means everything coming out from our mouth for me is fantastic. And this idea to give you life, to breathe, I was thinking to integrate that idea like in many fountains in my culture in Europe, but with real people, because it's nice to know about godness, divinities, but I prefer to talk about real people. And these anonymous people, we are anonymous people building up cities and towns and countries. Well, transform those people into divinities, no? And I was suggesting, you know, in those drawings, to try to create a certain, let's say, archive of people living in Chicago. I always like it very much. The idea of the falling water, nothing control it, not jets up. No. I think that is ridiculous. I like when the water, for gravity, is just falling down. I think it's very beautiful. Like when you cry. Can you imagine if you cry like this? It would be ridiculous. You cry. I think it's very beautiful and very interesting for sculptures. Gravity. I'm here, and I like this idea of physically inside the work. And all the hairs of that faces were just falling water. I remember when I did my presentation, I was dreaming about Niagara Falls in Michigan Avenue. That was my idea. And the conversation. Okay, every time that two guys are talking, or we are talking now, I'm here, you are there, we are creating a space in between. I love this space in between. Could be closer, depends, could be farther, could be complicated, could be relaxing, could be everything. But it's always in a space that we are creating permanently. And I like it to transform that into a real plaza, a real space. I like very much, you probably knows, the big plaza in Marrakech, which is amazing. Or Campo di Fiori is another fantastic plaza, which I like very much in Rome. And probably all my Mediterranean tradition come out in that project. And I try to create this space in between, the dialogue of faces. Okay, with the help of Mark Sexton, which is a great architect in Chicago, and Rob Frankel, who is here, we spent almost 4 years developing these technical, physical elements. I remember I was always defending that this project was a dream, and they were the people to transform my dream into reality. And it was a hard work, but very beautiful, because finally it was working. And in between the faces, I did a reflecting pool. It's about 1/8 of an inch. It's a very thin layer of water, because even if I'm from the Mediterranean area, I don't swim. And it was my dream to one day to have the possibility to do a pool for me. And that is a potentially pool that I could walk on it. The Dead Sea and the Crown Fountain in. And well, we spent all this time, and we were filming with the help of the School of the Art Institute, 1,000 faces of people living in town. And well, you know, well, that is a nice effect when the gargoyle is working. Why? Because it's the first time that kids love my work. And the first night, I remember with Rock, we decided to try and to take the fence away. And I don't know from where, a lot of people just arrived. And kids were completely wet immediately. And all the parents very angry against. And the day after, all the parents were with a towel, and the brush said, no, our contemporary art, you know, contemporary art.